I am in Tucumcari, New Mexico. I have just arrived in downtown. Let me give you a look. Yeah, check out this old theater, huh? It's still playing movies too. Hear that old 50s music. Welcome to Tucumcari, New Mexico, land of enchantment. Town started out as a railroad camp, and this is in 1901. Became quite the place. Very lawless. A lot of saloons. It was initially called Six-Shooter Siding. That was the name of the town, on account of all the gunfights that would happen here on an almost daily basis. Beautiful train depot, isn't it? 1908, they changed it to Tucumcari. Tucumcari is the Comanche word for ambush. I couldn't just drive by this train station and not get a closer look. This was built in 1926. This is Spanish Revival. You see a lot of that out here. See if I can give you a look inside. Well, there's nothing in there. It's just a big empty space right now, it appears. Let's see what's on the other side. Huge grain elevator over there. Tucumcari is on the Mother Road. Route 66. And it is one of the best towns for exploring that kind of history. On the route, Tucumcari was a lot of the inspiration for the Pixar movie Cars, for that very reason. Let me show you a map real quick. You can see where I'm at. And in population history, 1950, peak population 8419, 2020 5278. Yeah, that's because of Route 66. It was at its peak in 1950. Millions of families vacationed on the route and will travel through places like this town right here. It's beautiful, isn't it? A couple of really big murals. Not sure what they are. Maybe someone can help us out there. Tucumcari is the county seat for Quay County. There's the county courthouse. Built in 1939. I think we all know what kind of architecture that is. Yeah, that is Art Deco. Beautiful example. Get your kicks. Route 66. Tucumcari tonight. That's the town's motto, by the way. Tucumcari tonight, referencing the many old Route 66 motels here in town. They've got some modern hotels as well. This is the Blue Swallow Motel. It made an appearance in the Cars movie. This one's on the National Register. It was built in 1941 and it's been open ever since. And of course, there are tons of little t-shirt shops and gift shops. Old Texaco. There's lots of great stuff here. Happy motoring on Route 66. Abandoned gas station. Well, let's see what's inside. You never know. Yeah, nothing happening there. This is a used car lot. Let's kick some tires. Look at this old Ford Galaxy, convertible. This is worth some money, even in this condition. $27.50 for this one. Looks like the rear suspension could use some work. I mean, you could fix that dash. It's all original. Ooh, look at these beauties. Goodest. Gooder. There's 3 of them. Wow. I would love to have one of these. What could have been a garage? Long abandoned. This was a restaurant. Let's get out and get a closer look. Ranch House Cafe, Mexican food. Well, the place doesn't appear to be open. Should we look inside? Why not? Yep. Nothing going on in there. Yeah, Paradise Cafe. Whoop. Stepping on stuff. You wonder what that looked like long ago. Anyway, it's next door to an empty motel. Itself long abandoned. Wow. Guess we can take a quick look at inside of one of the rooms. I'm sure homeless end up here every now and then. You can see the bathroom back there. Looks like people have hung out there before. And this is the office where you would check in. Well, that might have been a room. Let's see. This is the office for sure. Wow, this caught on fire. How about that, huh? I guess I should start giving you guys some numbers. As I head to this grain elevator, I'll do just that. 64% of this town is Hispanic. 30% white, 2% black, 4% mixed race or other. And I'll give you median household income too, real quick. $39,915 a year. That's $770 a week. And poverty, real quick as well. 31.2 overall. School-aged children, 36%. 65 and older, 26%. All those numbers are more than twice higher than the rest of the U.S. And there it is. Rising majestically into the sky. Okay, how about cost of living? It's a 76. So 24% lower than the rest of the U.S. Utilities highest at 97. Housing lowest at 36. Well, we did expect to see some abandoned homes here. Alright, so crime. What is crime here? Last year, 33 incidents per 1,000 people. Crime. It's a bit high. Alright, well, residential. This is pretty typical of what you see as you drive through the town. Let me give you median home value. $56,400. Yeah, that is very low, isn't it? Well, guys, I am in Lynch, Kentucky. An interesting town. Used to be a company town, founded in 1917 by U.S. Coal and Coke Company. And the entire town was in service to that coal mining company. But as we all know, that is often a recipe for disaster. Gary, Indiana? Anybody? Same thing. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about that and explore this town. So let's do that. Oh, by the way, this is the Looney River. Runs through this narrow, I guess you'd call it a valley. Sometimes they call it a holler, but just a hollowed point between the mountains here. Now I was going to give you the history of the town real quick, but they actually have a sign right here that does just that. So let's take a look at it. Build the town, Big Looney Creek was rerouted. Okay. Among the structures chronicled here, the coal company constructed 6 miles of paved streets, 50 miles of water lines, one of the largest company stores in the world. Also included were a hospital, 120-room hotel, bank, post office, elementary, and high schools. 1,000 homes were served by outhouses, and each connected to a central sewage system disposal plant. And from what I understand, it was one of the best in the world, the sewage system here at the time. At its peak, the city had over 10,000 residents. Yeah, so we're talking late 30s into early 1940. There were 10,000 people here. Today, around 600. Now, the town was named after the head of U.S. Coal and Coke. His name was Thomas Lynch. And what happened here? Well, we'll get into that in just a second. Let me show you some stuff over here real quick. Safety, the first consideration. Mine number 31, 1920. Looks like we can go in here. This is quite the thing they've got going here.
Yeah, we sure do.
Wow. Yeah, I want to go in there. Doesn't look like I can though. This is quite a nice museum they've got here. Little spot. And I guess this is the end of the line, though. This is awesome. You can smell sulfur. Now you can see the tracks here for the coal cars. There's the entrance there. Comes out here, and they would load this coal on this conveyor belt. And at its peak, they would move 500 tons of coal an hour. It's cool they actually got some coal in it. That is fantastic. And they've got little coal cars right here, the trains, I guess you would call them. And this is what they look like. You bring the coal up from underground. They will load it up on this conveyor belt to this tipple over here. Now, when this tipple was built in the 1920s, it was the largest capacity tipple in the world. And they actually set the record for the most coal production in one day, the world record. In February 12, 1923, 12,820 tons of coal were mined and brought up in 9 hours. Now here's the conveyor belt. It goes over the road on its way to the loading area and the tipple. Now right here is a powerhouse. So here's another look at the power plant, and then the conveyor belt, which comes up to this loading tower or concrete bin, a tipple, or what's left of it. Now let's see what the sign says. The original structure, which consisted of the concrete bin seen here and an additional 60-foot high steel superstructure atop the concrete, was the largest coal tipple in the world when completed in 1930. Upper steel structure was used to hand-pick rock from the coal to screen and size the product, housed in a huge dust collection system. That's pretty incredible, isn't it? And next to it is city water plant. So the company just built their own water plant as well. It's right here. Just lies in ruins now. But as you can hear, they had lots of water to supply it. Yeah, look at that. I'm not sure if I can go over there or not. Let me see what I can do. Oh, there's just so much water everywhere, though. Amazing, huh? Cars used to, or vehicles used to drive across this. No longer. Give you a look at the river. And the power plant. Well, I'm not sure if I can go over here. I'll go take a look and see if anybody runs me off. Power plant from here, and then you can see another conveyor belt. It goes into here. Isn't that something? These are beautiful ruins, aren't they? I just love this stuff. Let's see if we can see inside. Try to imagine the hustle and bustle of activity that was once here. There's a bear here near the mine. What's interesting about this guy is he's covered in coal. They swing around and look at his face. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Got a train depot over here. I'll start giving you some statistics on the town. Now, as I said earlier, and as you read earlier, at one time there was 10,000 people here. The population is around 600 now. Median age is 59. That compares to 39 for the US. So this town is considerably older than most places. 56% of the town is female. Interesting. 44% male. Look at this old engine. The U.S. steel train engine was restored and repainted, or painted. I wonder if I can climb up there and take a look. What do you guys think? I think this old man can get up here. Yeah, the door's open. Wow. Yeah, so we can crawl right in. This is where the engineer seats or sits. It's the engineer's seat. That's what I was trying to say. But anyway, yeah, so you can sit here and envision yourself driving this train. Something all of us young men, or men of any age, do, or did, when we were young, I would think. Yeah, I've got a caboose here. It looks like we can go inside that. Let's do it. I always love going inside cabooses. All right, so into the caboose we go. Oh, please use door at the other end. I hope they don't mind. I'm just going to go in this way because the light is behind me here, and I want you guys to see everything. And a little sink, a little desk, storage. It looks like. Wow. Toilet. Where did it go? Just out on the tracks? I would guess so. Got a little of everything here. Looks like that was a oven, maybe to cook some food. A place you can sit and just kind of look out the window. Wave to the kids as you go by. That's what I would do. Locker of some sort. Another desk here, it looks like. That is too cool, isn't it? I feel like I'm 7 years old again. And there's the depot itself. Let me continue on with the numbers as I head that way. Now here's the ethnic breakdown. 79% white, 18% black, 1% Hispanic, 2% mixed race. All right, here's the median household income. $29,954 a year. I don't have to tell any of you, that's low. That's $576 a week. household income. So that's everybody that lives in the house, 15 years old and older, making income combined. And here is, well, it says fire station, but I believe it's City Hall now. Built in 1921, it says. A coal company also built a big store, supply store, where the residents in town could get anything and everything they needed. This is what's left of it. I don't know if you can see that sign up there. 1919, the United Supply Company, Incorporated. So what's poverty like? It's pretty bad, 31.7% overall. But here's where it's really bad. Children 17 and under, 82%. 8 out of every 10 child here lives in poverty. Folks 65 and older, though, it's 9%. That is actually a good number. That's lower than the U.S. Cost of living, here's the index. 77. One of the lowest I've seen. The big one's housing, of course. It's a 41, so it's 59% lower. And I'll show you some houses later. But let's do crime real quick also. Last year, 22 incidents per 1,000 people. That compares to 23 for the U.S. So crime here is just a shade lower than the rest of the country as a whole. We're here to show you the high school. There's this one and this one. This one actually says Lynch graded and high school. Perhaps it started that way and then they built this high school later. There's also another high school here. I will show you it shortly and explain to you why. Looks like we can take a peek inside, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just in ruins, isn't it? Yeah, look, there's some desks there. Is that what that is? I'm just holding the camera inside the window. I think there's another way to look in over here too. Wow. Well, should I go in? I guess I could do that till somebody runs me off, huh? Probably not safe in here, but yeah, there's those school desks again. I guess this was a classroom. Yeah, it's totally in ruins. Kind of spooky. There's another classroom. And the desks are all just, or the desks, I'm trying to say, are all just piled up here. I'm back in, I guess, what was the main hall of the school. That's just spooky like a scary movie spooky, isn't it? Wow. Alright, well anyway, high school is right here, next door. 1924, Lynch High School. Reward for the arrest and conviction of anyone caught destroying or defacing this building. There's a little hole. Should we take a look inside? Oh, it's dark. Oh, the camera's picking up some light though. Poke the camera in some of these windows. Wow. It's just totally in ruins, isn't it? I wonder what this little hole is. Holy cow. Well, let's take a look at some residential, shall we? Before I take you to that other high school. Let's give you a look at some of the homes here. They look pretty nice, don't they? I didn't give you median home value yet. It is $54,600. I don't have to tell any of you that that is really low. Some big houses though. Wow. Yeah, houses look pretty awesome. All right, guys, here's the other school. The Lynch Colored Public School. Yeah, Lynch was segregated up until 1960. So this is where black children went to school. And this building's still in use. It's in a lot better shape than the other ones. There's a placard over here. Let's go see what it says. Lynch Colored High School, West Main High School. W.L. Show was principal. 3956 was an outstanding and progressive administrator. After his retirement, Coach John V. Coleman promoted to principal. School name changed to West Main High. School had many notable students and athletes. I am entering the town of Jonestown. Jonestown, Mississippi. This is a former farming community that is struggling a bit because obviously farming jobs just aren't there like they used to be. Peak population of this town was in the year 2000, so just 24 years ago. There were 1,700 people here. Today there are 960. Welcome to Jonestown. Okay, I'm going to head into downtown right now. The median age of the town is 35. So that's a little bit lower than the U.S. But here's an interesting stat. 65% of the town is female. 35% male. So 2 out of every 3 people here are female. Well, I guess that's it for downtown. I'll look around a little bit here. The town is 100% black. Well, let's see. The median household income here, it's low. $20,000 a year. That's $385 a week. That is median household income. So half the town makes more than $20,000. Half the town makes less than $20,000. I checked per capita just for fun. Per capita income here is $12,600 a year. That's $243 a week. So incomes are very low. With the loss of farming, yeah, the town is definitely struggling. Poverty, as you can guess, is very high. 56.4% overall. 17 and under, it is 78%. 65 and older is 14%. That's actually not too bad. I'm back in downtown now. The streets of the town are kind of nice, aren't they? Cost of living here is very low. 73% of what it is in the U.S., if the U.S. is 100. So cost of living here is 27% lower than the rest, or compared to the rest of the U.S. Yeah, 27% lower. That's a lot. Housing, especially, housing or median home value here is $45,000. $45,000. That's, well, it's one of the lowest that I've seen in my travels. Another number that really sticks out, though, is percentage of people married. Only 20% of this town is married. Now, this is, I would guess, the top employer, and it is the top employer. It's the Delta Oil Mill. They do produce a lot of cottonseed products here, even though, from what I understand, it is struggling as well. It's quite a facility, though, isn't it? Now, crime, it's low. Latest numbers, 11 incidents per 1,000 people. That compares to 23 per 1,000 for the U.S. So crime here is, it's over half lower. You can see some poverty here, though. I would expect to see a lot of abandoned homes here, because the town has lost close to half its population over the past, 24 years? Honestly, not seeing too much, though. Let me look around a little bit more. Jonestown Grocery and Washateria. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's still operating. Well, there is the occasional empty house, though. Here's one here. Yeah, that is, that one is abandoned. Here's one that clearly caught on fire. You can actually smell the burn. Wow, it's got an overwhelmingly strong smell of burning or burn. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about when you smell something that's burned. You can really smell it there. Wow. Well, that's not livable. Neither one of these are. Oh, actually somebody lives there. It just doesn't seem possible. Yeah, it is long closed. Got a business next to it. Long closed as well. Now here's a map where I'm at right now. I'm actually in White Clay, Nebraska, which is just across the South Dakota border. To tell the story of Pine Ridge Reservation, I need to tell you a bit about this town. In 1889, when the reservation was founded, alcohol was illegal. Illegal to drink, illegal to buy, illegal to sell, and it is still that way to this day. This town was founded for the specific reason to sell alcohol to the people who lived on the reservation, and sell it they did. By 2010, they were selling about 5 million cans of beer yearly to the people who lived on the reservation. And it is one of the reasons why alcoholism is so rampant on the reservation. Finally, in 2017, the state of Nebraska pulled the liquor licenses, and you can no longer buy alcohol in this town anymore. A victory for the reservation for sure. Now, did it stop it? No, people just go to other places to get alcohol now. "70% of the people who live on this reservation, from what I understand, are alcoholics. 25% of the children born on the reservation have birth defects or birth problems because of alcohol consumption by their parents. This reservation was much larger at one time. Over the years, the U.S. government has picked away at the reservation, taken away many of the areas that the Lakota people consider sacred. And there's just very little opportunity here. Job prospects are nil, and just a lot of despair. And because of that, people turn to alcohol. Now, I just crossed the line into South Dakota, so here's a map real quick. The first town is Pine Ridge. It's just a couple miles up the road. But before we do that, let me give you the Oglala Lakota County numbers. This is considered the poorest county in the United States. Population 13,587. Here's the median household income. $34,769 a year. That's $670 a week. But a closer look tells you a little bit more. There are 4.8 people per household. For the U.S., it's 2.5. 62% of this county has female head of households, and only 18% of the county, the people are married. Now, back to the incomes. Here's the per capita income, $11,650 a year. That's $224 a week. That is the lowest per capita income of any county in the United States. This town looks pretty normal to me. Ethnic breakdown real quick. 84% Native American, 16% white. Yeah, they've got gas station, fast food, a lot of the services that you expect to see in a town of 3,000 people. By the way, even though alcohol is illegal, marijuana is not. Marijuana is legal here. Now, this is the county seat for Oglala, Lakota County, but they don't have a county courthouse. For some reason, they don't run the county's business from this town. It's actually run from Hot Springs, South Dakota, which is not in the reservation. So I'm not sure as to the reason for that. One of the things that you see is dogs just running loose everywhere. It's kind of a weird thing. I'll start giving you some of the other numbers. Median household income, $50,954 a year. There are 4.7 people per household. That is much higher than the U.S. of 2.5. 60% of the town is female head of household. And only 10% of this town is married. Yeah, so those are some numbers that you got to look at. Here is the per capita income. Let's take a look at it again. $13,327 a year. That's $256 a week. Poverty, 32.3 overall. School-age children, 25. 65 and older, 18. Honestly, I've seen a lot worse in other places. Let me give you the median home value, $45,000. They do have a really nice, new-looking hospital. This is the high school for Pine Ridge. It's really nice, isn't it? This appears to be a grocery store and auto parts store, looks like. Everything's all in one, it appears. Yeah. Foods, hardware, auto parts. Oh, that's pretty cool. Powwow, next left. You don't get any more Native American than that, do you? Well, here's the fire station. It's cool to see that. Life expectancy in this county is 66 years old. That is the lowest in the United States. For the U.S. overall, it's 78. These appear to all be abandoned. Yeah, this church appears to be abandoned. It is really hard to imagine people living there, but apparently they do. Wow. All right, I am in a small town of Cotton Plant, Arkansas. Yeah, this is one of the poorest towns in this United States. And we'll get to those numbers shortly. Let me give you some of the history first. The town was first settled in 1820 by a guy named William Lynch. He was from Mississippi. He came here with cotton seeds that he brought from the Mississippi Delta, because he rightly figured, or understood anyway, that cotton would grow well here. And it did. And the town thrived. 1908, the railroad came, and of course this was a way for them to ship even larger quantities of cotton to other places in the country, and the town boomed even more. And timber was also growing as a major industry in the town. And it boomed. Now, in the early 1900s, there was a fire, and it burned much of the town to the ground. And then the Great Depression hit, and the town has never recovered. So first of all, let me show you a map so you can see where I am in Arkansas. And in population history, peak was in 1950, 1838. Last census estimate down to 482. All right, so let me give you some numbers. Like I said, they're really interesting. Median age is 57.8. Definitely an older town. Ethnic breakdown, 80% black, 15% white, 5% mixed race or other. So let's dive into the big numbers, and that's we'll start with median household income, $11,790 a year. That's $227 a week that households live on. That's everybody drawing income 15 years of age or older. Wow. But you can see per capita is higher, $21,029 a year. That's $404 a week. That's still low. And how does that happen? Because there's more single households here in this town, and they skew the numbers. And if you look at this metric here, 74% of the town is single, 26% married. And then here's another big one, 35% of the town are widows. So poverty, you're probably guessing, it's going to be pretty bad. It is 57.7 overall. For children 17 and under, 84%. I think that's maybe the highest I've ever seen. 60% for retirement age, folks. Still high. Everybody here is struggling financially. Cost of living's at 73. You can see everything's in the 90s, but housing is at 22, which tells us houses are going to be really inexpensive here. And so you see a lot of this here in town. Looks like a nice house as you come upon it. It was definitely a beautiful house back in its day, but if you look closer, you can see it is in not good shape at all. Got some glass broken out, but yeah, you get behind it. And you know, it's disintegrating. I guess you can see that the sun is shining right at me. But anyway, yeah, a lot of that here. Yeah, that one just I guess it was a fire. Took that one out. Just sits there, a symbol of, quite honestly, what the town has become. As you drive through the town, you just see a lot of ruins. I believe this was a school. Yeah. Nature is taking that building. This might have been a school as well here. See the marquee there. It's just in ruins. Kids that do live here go to school somewhere else, I'm sure. Mother Nature is taking it back. Streets are really interesting, aren't they? Residential streets. So here's crime. 3.7 incidents per 100 people. USA is 2.1. So on top of it all, crime here is pretty high. Another empty house. Water filtration plant. Wow. Look. See some water. I guess it's being filtered there. I guess. You can hear it. Place looks like it's in pretty bad shape though, doesn't it? Wow. Yeah, there's not a gas station or store of any kind here. Not even a Dollar General. So to get food and gas and stuff like that, people who live here to travel to another town. This is what you see everywhere. Club Dirty Red. Open 24 hours. I would say not so anymore. I guess this is the fire department. Huh. Yeah, the whole town is basically just in ruins. I don't know what this was. Hard to say. Yeah, they do have a post office. Common sight here. All right, I guess I got one more number to give you. That is median home value. We know it's going to be low, and it is. $41,400. Well, everyone, I'm entering the town of Hayden, Arizona. Let's look at a map real quick. You can see where I am. Yeah, so I'm driving into the town. I'm going to head into downtown. But as you drive into this town, there is a structure here that dominates the landscape. And it's right here. Yeah, there it is. That is the Hayden copper smelter. That is 1,001 actually, I think, feet tall, which makes it the tallest structure in the state of Arizona. Taller than any building in Phoenix or Tucson. Now, as I approach the downtown, here is population history. Peak was in 1960, 1,760 people. Last census, 512. Yeah, that's a lot of people gone. 2023 estimate, here it is, 412. So over the past 3 years, another 100 people gone. With that kind of population loss, by the next census, this could very well be a ghost town. Let's see, median age here is 48, which is a little younger than I thought it would be. Let me give you the ethnic breakdown real quick. 85% Hispanic, 15% white. Yeah, that's it. Right here is the Hayden Police Department. It's a pretty grand looking building for a police department, isn't it? That used to be the Valley National Bank, which is long gone now. Would you look at that structure? That was a grand old building, wasn't it? I've taken a preliminary drive. There are some beautiful old buildings here that are, of course, decaying now, but you can tell that they were something to see in their days. This is one of them. Yeah, that is just in ruins now, but what a building that was at some point. The furniture store looks like it. There you go. Alright, well, let's see. I want to head up into downtown. Let me give you median household income as I head up this way. $28,654 a year. That's household income. That's everybody in a household 15 years and older drawing income. $555 a week. Yeah, that is not very much money. This started out as a company town for the Kennecott Copper Corporation. It was built by the copper company for the huge copper mine that was here. As that has been mined and faded away, so has the town. And it is continuing to fade away. I do believe that smelter is still being used and is the primary employer. It processes copper from the Ray mine. That's up the road in Kearney. Yeah, there's some great old stuff here. You just look at this and think, what an awesome town this was back in the day. I had read that they have an abundance of police cars. Looks like it, doesn't it? I don't think they need this many for this small town. Well, let's see. Let's take a look at poverty. 31.6 overall. School-age children, 20%. 65 and older, 25%. Yeah, those numbers are a little on the high side. What a great old building. I wonder what that was. I love it. Anyway, yeah, cost of living here, though, is an 80. Here's the index. But look at housing. It's an 18. What does that tell us? Yeah, houses here are going to be really cheap. But we'll get to that in a second. The condition of things here. Damn. Yeah, this is definitely a dying town. Well, while I'm up here, let me give you a median home value. $37,400. That is not a lot of money for a house. But you can definitely see it, can't you? The low values. Yeah, I just see a lot of ruins everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. Look at this. That's crazy. Crime's really high here too. I looked up the numbers last year, or latest numbers, 4 incidents per 100 people. For the U.S. as a whole, it's 2.3. So crime here is not quite twice higher, but it is definitely up there. Yeah, runs are everywhere. Yeah, just taking a look at everything here. Looks like I've hit a dead end. So, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Well, let's see, I'm giving you a look at the copper mine here, or what's left of it. There's that big smelter. That's really interesting. You know what's funny is this house, which looks like caught on fire, is basically across the street from the fire department. Yeah, it's really beautiful here in the desert. Now this first town is Marshall. I'm going to head into downtown. Now, according to what I read, this was the widest main street built in the United States, at least for a small town. And you can kind of see that. The way they designed this main street was they brought in a team of horses, and they just made them, the team of horses had them do a U-turn, and that is how they decided how wide the streets would be. It would be wide enough for a team of horses to make a U-turn. So let me give you a good look at the town here. It is in pretty bad shape. Might have to get out on foot, take a little bit closer look. But you can see how bad a shape it is. I mean, this is a Friday morning at, I guess it's about 10:30 a.m. Yeah, it is completely abandoned, isn't it? Wow. Let's see. Well, let me get through the town first. I think I'll turn around and get out on foot so we can take a look at some of this stuff. So the town's main industry now is wheat farming and cattle. And when I give you the income numbers, it'll probably surprise you. But as I walk through here, let's start with population. Peak population 1930, 695 people. There's 200 now, a little over, or that was in 2020. There's actually less than that now. Median age is 50. Let's take a look at everything. Boy, this is some serious decay, isn't it? This is just about a ghost town. Let me give you the ethnic breakdown. 90% white, 6% Hispanic, 1% Native American. Remaining is mixed race. Yeah, so there's not a lot of Native Americans left here, is there? There's a suitcase back there. And some tires. Man, this is some crazy stuff, isn't it? Well, so here's the median household income. $58,182 a year. I think that's a bit surprising. A little over $1,100 a week. That's pretty good income, especially with the cost of living here, 86. exactly the same as the state of Oklahoma, which is an 86. And this town's heyday, it had a saloon, a cafe, a hotel, grocery store, laundromat, bank, law offices, barber shop, beauty shop. It's all gone now. This might have been a former hotel. And it's just, you can smell the, it's a really musty smell in here. Yeah, this looks like might have been the bank. Look at that. It looks like that might have been a bank, doesn't it? It's just completely gone. The front of this building. Amazing, isn't it? It just sits here decaying. I don't think I'm going to go up there. See the stairs collapsing. Well, let's see. I'll tell you what surprised me was crime. 43 incidents per 1,000 people. That's twice higher than the U.S. Low population, though. They only had 8 crimes total here last year. Yeah, let's see. I just walked from that direction. There's a bunch of chickens. Yeah, see them in there? Wow. Well, the fire department's over here. Let's go take a look. It's an old fire engine. And the fire department's right here. Yeah, Marshall Fire Department volunteer. And some more buildings. Cleaner remodeling. Yeah, they got a mural or two. Bars on the window here. Wow. Well, all right. Let's go look around some of the residential areas. Well, let's see. I just drove off Main Street. Let's check out some residential. Here's the median home value for the town, $33,900. Poverty, a little on the high side, 21.1% overall, 17% for school-age children, 10% for retired folks. Looks like it's sitting there empty, but that was an amazing house, wasn't it? Wow. The high school here closed down in 1976, and the middle school closed down in 1988. This appears to be what's left of the buildings. the schools we're in. Home of the Dragons. Yeah, I like that. That may have been the high school there, huh? Long gone now. Well, you can definitely see the population loss, can't you? It just looks like people up and left. I guess maybe people lived there. I would say definitely not there, though. So guys, I've just arrived at the very small town of, well, here's the map real quick. It's spelled Peru like the country Peru, but I believe they pronounce it Peru here. This town, it's very close to ghost town status. Here's the population history. 628, that was the population in 1930. I mean, not big then, but still something. 101 last census. Yeah, it's almost gone. Median age here is 62, which supports the well, the fact that it's going to be a ghost town probably in 20 years, because the majority of the people here are over the age of 50, and you know, as they die out, so does the town. It's pretty close now. The town has an interesting person of historical significance, I guess you could say, that was born here. Madeline Dunham was born here. She was the maternal grandmother of former President Barack Obama. And she basically raised him. Barack's mother, when he was 10 years old, married an Indonesian guy and moved to Indonesia to live with him, and left Barack with her mother, Madeline. And she raised Barack from the age of 10 up into adulthood. Kind of a sad end to that story. She passed away 2 days before he was elected. Now, it looks like the town has, well, something of a downtown, or remnants of a downtown. It's right up here. Here's the ethnic breakdown as I make my way there. 88% white, 2% Native American, remaining 10% mixed race. And look at the gender breakdown, the gender ratio. 72% male, at least 28% female. Well, if I'm a guy, I don't like those odds. Yeah, this is it right here. This is what's left of downtown. Here's post office. And well, clearly this is boarded up, but next to it is City Hall. This looks like end of the world stuff here, doesn't it? Here on the other side. Yeah, this whole street looks abandoned. Another house here. You see well, a lot of trash on the porch. I mean, it's just like they piled all this stuff here and left and forgot about it. It's just the craziest thing. I bet there's some real treasures in here. You can see them already. There might even be some stuff worth a few bucks back there. Whew, boy, that's just falling apart there, isn't it? So is that one. Yeah, got a lot of dogs running around loose in the town. In this yard. That is a lot of stuff, guys. Am I right? Old abandoned church here. And another house that's just disintegrating. Here's median household income, $36,985 a year. That's $711 a week. Poverty, it's got to be pretty bad, right? This defies expectations, doesn't it? 6.8 overall. Let's see, cost of living, it's a 68. That is one of the lowest I've ever seen, if not the lowest. Look at housing, it's a 15. That tells you what? Houses here are going to be inexpensive. Here's the median home value here. $33,000. That's just hard to believe. Alright, I am here. The very first town we're going to take a look at. War, West Virginia. Let's go into the downtown and take a look. Alright, we are about to drive into downtown. War, West Virginia. Right off the bat, Dollar General. In 1950, that was the year of peak population, there were 4,000 people here. Guess this was a car dealership of some sort, maybe? Yeah, 4,000 people. Last census, there were 690. That is a lot of people gone. Little convenience store right here on the edge of downtown. "59% of this town is female." Wow, 59%. 41% male. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I guess this is City Hall, perhaps? And police department, it says. How about that? And a church right here. See, let me give you the ethnic breakdown. 95% white, 1% black, last 4% mixed race or other. Now let's continue down Down the street here into downtown. Hotel Fretwell. I bet that was the place back in the day. What do you think? Well, as I continue in, here's the median household income real quick. $20,852 a year. That's $401 a week. That is not a lot of money. I am in McDowell County, by the way. This is one of the poorest counties in the United States. You can see a lot of evidence of the past glory of the town, though, can't you? This looks like it was quite a beautiful downtown back in its day. Well, I've got a little, is this a coffee shop? Thrift Gifts Incorporated. Yeah, it is really beautiful here, though. Yeah, the town is named after War Creek. That's not it, I don't think. The Indians in the area gave it the name of the creek because of all the skirmishes and battles that would happen along the banks of it. And it was just shortened to War when it became a town. Very unusual name for a town, isn't it? Yeah, I believe this is, yeah, that's it. War Creek right there. Let me give you some more numbers. Poverty here, 39% overall. School-aged children, 61%. That's really high. 65 and older, 23%. Cost of living, though, here is only a 77. And you can see housing's the lowest at 31. You know, it's all relative, though, as far as how poor it is. It all depends on cost of living. Cost of living here is real low. I checked crime. 2.3 incidents per 100 people last year. That is exactly the same as the U.S. Let me give you the median home value real quick before I head down this residential street. $28,800. Now that is inexpensive. Needless to say, I am entering the town of Randsburg, California. Here, let me show you a map real quick. There are about 102 people here. It's a very small town. Might have to get out and take a look on foot, huh? That's what I'm thinking. Let's do a quick drive-through, though. Wow, huh? Randsburg is a former gold mining town. A boom town. In the late 1800s, 1890 into early 1900s, that is. It's about 1,500 people here then. And many of these structures appear to be the actual structures that existed at the time. You see a lot of these fake old Wild West towns that have buildings that look like this. you know, but they're newly constructed or recently constructed. But no, these are the real thing, folks. That is an actual barber shop, or this is. How about that? Yeah, let's get a look at the side here. See a museum there. Old gas station. Rand Motor Co. Wow, huh? Yeah, it's very quiet right now. It's about 8 in the morning. I looked at the numbers of this town. Wasn't sure what I was going to see. Oh, that's a private home. How about that? I knew that the economy of this town is based on tourism. You can totally see that now. But I have to tell you, this town is far off the beaten path. It's very eccentric, isn't it? Which makes it my kind of town. Here, let me show you a few numbers. Median age here is 70.9. Look at this chart. 100% of the town is aged 50 or older. 77% of the town is 70 or older. I don't have to tell you. This is a pretty old town. Well, no question about it. This is got a very old population. I would guess that all 100 people work in the town, work in all these different businesses, because there are no children here. Here's the ethnic breakdown. 100% white. This is a really cool place, though. So some of the other numbers, there's no median household income. There's none reported by the U.S. Census, but here's the per capita, $18,943 a year. That's $364 a week. That's what each and every person lives on. That is very low, especially for California. Yes, the cost of living, even in this town, well, here it is. It's 115. Whew. California's 140. It's one of the highest in the country. So, it's got to be pretty tough living here. But with what they have to work with, they've done a fantastic job. This place has a lot of charm. Let's go look at this over here. Looks like an old carriage. Straight out of the old Wild West. What's this old truck here? Here's another really interesting demographic. Look at the marriage rate, 100%. That means the town, population 102, has 51 couples, every one of them married. White House Saloon. So crime, none reported. I would say that's no surprise. Town of 102 people, everybody's going to know each other. And if someone commits a crime, everyone else is going to know it. It's pretty awesome out here. Yeah. Well, let me give you the median home value. $9,999. Well, let's look around the town, see what else is here. Let's check out some residential. See what we can see. Slow down, be quiet, or we get kicked out of Randsburg. Look at this, city jail. Well, we have to get out and look at that, don't we? We can take a look inside. Yeah, it's got 2 cells. Well, looks like she got stuck in here. What's that say? The dance hall gals were many a miner's best pals, though they lived their life in shame. Oh, he would rant and rave about the money he gave, but he always played their game. Yeah, on this side, got a little sink. Let's see if I can move the camera over there. A little table with some Jim Beam, and a little toilet. Even a little sink. Looks like a little toilet right there too, doesn't it? Lots of fun little shops everywhere. All kinds of cool stuff. There's even some culture. Yeah, they have an opera house.